The World Baseball Classic Championship game unintentionally provided you insight into how big leaguers continue to get better even when they're not playing or they're just sitting on the bench, and you may have missed it. I'm going to drop the clip in here in the video for you to get some context of what I'm talking about.
Well, for Team USA, the biggest difference on paper coming into this World Baseball Classic was to be the pitching. Paul Skeens right at the center of that. 8 1/3, just 1 run in his 2 starts. Logan Webb, the guy next to him, a 2-time All-Star, made 2 starts. And Paul Skeens, I think for you, John, went from you couldn't hold him in any higher regard, and then you found some room up in the attic to raise him up.
So as you see, you have Logan Webb and Paul Skeens sitting on the bench. This is during the championship game where both of them have already pitched. They know they're not getting into this game. And as you can see, Logan Webb is sitting there talking to Paul Skeens about pitch grips and how he grips the ball and his thought process into throwing that pitch and what he's trying to feel with the ball coming out of his hand. And Paul Skeens is just sitting there taking it all in, front row, front step of the dugout while they are watching the game. This is something you as a ball player needed to make note of, because this is something that goes unseen by all Major League Baseball players, guys that are in the minor leagues, and even elite college baseball players. But when you have an opportunity to just sit in the dugout, maybe you're not playing, or if you're an everyday position player, you're just sitting on the bench in between innings of you not getting your at-bat. But there is always a moment that you can continue to learn and redefine your craft just by sitting in the dugout and just talking to guys. For example, as a pitcher, sitting on the bench, talking amongst other pitchers, you can get insight into how guys throw certain pitches. Especially if you're a guy who may not know how to throw a pitch. Say if you have a curveball and you want to learn a slider, but you just cannot figure out how to get a slider to come out of your hand and have a sharp and tight circle on it to have a sharp break. So you talk to a guy that's on the bench that has a good slider and you pick his brain. You get insight into how he grips the ball, what pressure on his fingers he's trying to feel, and where he's releasing it, where he's trying to tunnel in on the plate as to far as where he's throwing it so that it breaks to the spot that he wants to. You can also sit on the bench and discuss hitters. Discuss what you're seeing in a guy's swing. Discuss how you put together a game plan with the catcher or how to attack a lineup. There's so many little intricacies of the game that go untaught, they go unnoticed, but there are things that happen in a major league dugout that continue to allow those guys to excel at the highest level. As a hitter, this is one of the best ways to have success in the box is by sitting in the dugout or sitting around the BP cage and talk to other hitters. Talk to them about their swing, talk to them about their mechanics, talk to them about their approach. When you're struggling, talk to other guys about how they continue to stay consistent. That is one of the biggest things I see missing with amateur ball players, youth players, high school players, is that they don't talk to each other enough about baseball. They may talk about baseball, but they're not talking about what allows them to have success, where me as a player can pick the brain of one of my teammates of what he's doing that allows him to stay consistent and perform. So as a hitter, you could pick up something from another guy mechanically. Maybe you're not feeling your hands get to the slot you want. Maybe you're not feeling the load properly in your backside and you have a little bit of a lunge. Well, talking to a guy, maybe you're a toe tap guy and a guy that has a big leg kick and does a good job of keeping his weight back and staying tall and being able to drive the baseball. For you, a guy that's lunging, go talk to the leg kick guy. See how he thinks about his swing, what his thought process through that load is to allow him to get through his rhythm and his loading point to get down to launch to be able to swing, of what allows him to stay back. If you're a guy that's struggling, again, go talk to another hitter and see what his approach is at the plate. With the pitcher, where is he looking for the ball to come out of his hand? Is he focusing on a little window right here, a tunnel that he can look for the pitch to be released at, or is he looking at the pitcher's eyes? Is he looking at the right field gap? You never know. But the more you talk to baseball, talk to other guys about baseball, in what they're doing as a player to allow them to be successful, the more you're going to learn and be able to take it to your own game. Especially once you get in game and it's time to step in the box and to compete and go to work. One of the best ways to essentially visualize or see the pitcher before ever stepping into the box is to go and talk to the guys that have already faced them. Talk to them about what the ball looks like coming out of the pitcher's hand. Says, does he release it right over the top? Is he a 3/4 arm angle guy? Is he a guy that hides the ball really well when it breaks out of his glove so you can't really pick it up until it's coming out of his hand? Or is he a guy that as soon as he breaks, you could see the ball going all the way back, all the way till he releases it, which gives you an extra 1/10 of a second, 2/10 of a second to be able to see the ball before it's actually being delivered to you. See what kind of spin he has on the ball. Maybe you could see that a curveball is just a cement mixer and it's just spinning in place and doesn't really have a break on it. Well then, if you have the 3 hitters in front of you that tell you, yeah, I saw a curveball and it just spun and it had no break on it, it was just sitting there spinning and it was really slow. Well now you as a hitter know that all you have to do is time up a fastball, because he's not going to be able to get you chasing on a curveball, because when he throws it, you're expecting it to just spin in place and not have much of a break on it. Now, there are going to be times where the pitcher executes. He does exactly what he's supposed to do. In those situations, you have to tip your hat, because that is the pitcher's job. If you're looking in the hole at bat and he pounds 3 sliders on the outside part of the plate when the 3 guys before you told you that the slider wasn't breaking, he didn't have it. And then all of a sudden you got in the box and he found that release point, he found that pressure on his finger, and now he just threw 3 unhittable pitches right there on the outside corner. Tip your hat to him. But that's now data that you put in your back pocket that you take with you to your next at bat, and then as you go into the dugout, you talk to your other teammates about what you saw and what he threw you. Talking to your teammates about what goes on in the box, what goes on in the mound, whether you're a position player or you're a pitcher, is one of the quickest ways for you to get better, and also to increase your baseball IQ in your mind, the way that you play the game. Too often, I see young guys not talking about this. One of the best times as a ball player to talk about this is during BP. When you're in a BP group and all you guys are just standing around the cage and you have rounds that are committed to doing something where you got to lay down a bunt, you got to hit and run, you got to move a guy over. Perfect time, especially if you're a guy that's struggling, to talk to guys about what they're doing to execute in those situations. If you struggle to lay a bunt down, talk to a guy about his bunting technique, his bunting stance, what he's trying to do, and maybe he might tell you one piece of information that might help you. You don't have to go and steal his whole playbook, but maybe he gives you an adjustment with your hands on the bat that you can make, where you bring your hands just a little bit down from the barrel. Gives you a little bit more control. You never know. But the more you talk about baseball, the more you're going to learn about baseball, and that is why I love seeing this clip during the WBC that aired early in the championship game, and it kind of got untalked about. It went unnoticed, but they stayed on they stayed on Logan Webb and Paul Skeens for an extended amount of time, and you could see the conversations they were having, and Paul Skeens was just sitting there soaking it in, because this is a chance for all of the guys that were on the USA WBC team, and you could say it for any country: Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Japan, Chinese Taipei, Italy. It doesn't matter. These are guys that are competing at the highest level, that are first-time teammates for most of them. So when they're in the dugout, when they're in the locker room, when they're taking BP, when they're in the cage, they're trying to pick each other's brains, because there is something that guy is doing that allowed him to get to the big leagues, that's allowing him to have success in his minor league career, whether it's on the pitching side, the hitting side, the defensive side, that baseball players are able to take and apply to their own game. The more that you do this, the better that you're going to get. And I love seeing this from the Team USA dugout, and the fact that it was aired on Fox. So the next time you have a game, the next time that you have a practice, the next time you're in the cage just hitting, talk to your teammates about what they're doing. Pick their brain. See what you can take from them that you can apply to your own game that's going to help you become a better baseball player.